There are few things more satisfying than creating a truly exceptional dessert from scratch. Today we're making a homemade chocolate cherry ice cream that is a total power move. We're channeling the spirit of a classic Black Forest cake, that iconic pairing of deep dark chocolate and sweet tangy cherries, and transforming it into a frozen, perfectly scoopable delight. The result is an ice cream that's rich, complex, and deeply rewarding. We'll be using a countertop ice cream maker for this recipe, which allows us to use a Philadelphia-style base. This style is eggless, which means it's significantly faster and easier to prepare than a traditional custard-based French-style ice cream. By omitting the eggs, we're not only simplifying the process, but we're also creating a clean, crisp canvas that allows the pure, unadulterated flavor of the cocoa and cherries to be the stars of the show. It's all about maximum flavor with minimal fuss. First, let's gather our ingredients. Precision is key in ice cream making, so having everything measured and ready will ensure a smooth process. For our dairy base, you will need 2 cups of cold, heavy cream and 1 cup of cold whole milk. The high-fat content in the cream is essential for a rich mouthfeel and creamy texture, while the milk thins the base just enough to keep it from feeling heavy. It's crucial that both are well chilled to help the ice cream churn properly. For our sweeteners and flavor, we'll use 3/4 of a cup of granulated sugar and 1/2 cup of unsweetened cocoa powder. I strongly recommend a Dutch process cocoa. Its alkalization process mellows the acidity, resulting in a smoother, darker, and more intensely chocolatey flavor that is perfect for ice cream. For our star add-ins, you'll need 1.5 cups of dark cherries. You can use fresh or frozen. Just be sure they are pitted and halved. We'll also use an optional 1/2 cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips to add a delightful textural crunch. Finally, for balance and depth, we need 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract and a single generous pinch of salt. The vanilla complements the chocolate beautifully, and the salt is a non-negotiable secret weapon. It doesn't make the ice cream salty, but it brilliantly enhances the sweetness and complexity of all the other flavors. Now for equipment. Beyond your ice cream maker, you'll need a large mixing bowl, a whisk, a spatula for scraping, and a freezer-safe container to store the final product. A fine mesh sieve is also handy for ensuring your cocoa powder is lump-free. The step-by-step. We begin with the cherries. If you're using fresh cherries, carefully pit and slice them in half. If you're working with frozen ones, allow them to thaw for about 15 to 20 minutes. The critical step here is to pat them thoroughly dry with a paper towel. Excess water will create unwanted ice shards in your finished ice cream, so removing that surface moisture is key to maintaining a creamy consistency. Next, we'll create our chocolate base. In your large bowl, combine the dry ingredients, the sugar, cocoa powder, and salt. If your cocoa looks clumpy, I highly recommend sifting it in to prevent any dry pockets in your final product. Whisk these together thoroughly. Now, pour in just a splash of your cold milk and whisk it into the dry ingredients to form a thick, smooth paste. This technique, called blooming, helps dissolve the cocoa fully and unlocks its deepest flavor. Once you have your paste, slowly whisk in the rest of the milk until the mixture is completely smooth and uniform. Finally, stir in the cold, heavy cream and the vanilla extract. Now for a crucial, non-skippable step, chilling the base. Cover the bowl and place it in the refrigerator for at least 30 minutes, though an hour is even better. The colder your base is before it hits the ice cream maker, the faster it will freeze. This rapid freezing creates smaller ice crystals, which is the scientific secret to achieving that ultra-creamy, smooth, professional-grade texture we're all after. Once your base is thoroughly chilled, it's time to churn. Give the mixture one last stir, then pour it into the frozen bowl of your pre-assembled ice cream maker. Turn the machine on and let it work its magic. You'll want to follow your manufacturer's instructions, but this typically takes about 15 to 20 minutes. Keep an eye on the consistency. You're looking for the moment it thickens to the texture of soft serve ice cream. This is the cue for our add-in phase. About 5 minutes before the churning cycle is complete, add your prepared cherries and the optional chocolate chips through the opening in the lid. Let the machine run for just another minute or two, only long enough to evenly distribute the pieces throughout the base. Now you could certainly eat it right away as a delicious soft serve, but for that classic firm scoop, we need to harden it. Transfer the ice cream from the churner into your freezer-safe container. Smooth the top with your spatula, and for an extra pro tip, press a piece of parchment paper directly onto the surface. This prevents ice crystals from forming and protects the texture. Seal the container and place it in the freezer for at least 4 hours, or until firm. When you're ready to serve, here's a little trick. Dip your ice cream scoop in hot water for a few seconds and wipe it dry. This will help you glide through the firm ice cream for a perfect, beautiful scoop every time. Garnish with a few extra chocolate shavings or a fresh cherry on top for a professional finish. A few final pro tips for guaranteed success. First, be gentle after adding the cherries. If you overchurn them, they can break down completely, bleed their color, and turn the entire batch a less than appetizing muddy purple. We want distinct pieces of fruit. Second, for a more adult and complex flavor profile, consider macerating the cherries. Soak them in a tablespoon of Kirsch, which is a cherry brandy, or even a good bourbon for about an hour before you add them to the churn. The alcohol not only adds a wonderful layer of flavor, but also lowers the freezing point of the fruit, ensuring the cherry pieces stay tender and chewy rather than freezing into hard, icy bullets. And if you don't have an ice cream maker, you can absolutely make a no-churn version. Simply whip 2 cups of heavy cream to stiff peaks. In a separate bowl, whisk your cocoa powder and vanilla into 1 14-ounce can of sweetened condensed milk. Gently fold the whipped cream into the condensed milk mixture, then fold in your cherries and chocolate chips. Transfer to a container and freeze for at least 6 hours. The texture will be slightly different, but still incredibly delicious. And there you have it.